Okay, folks, one of the things that I've often thought about is, are we in a buyer's market or a seller's market right now in terms of the Fife property market overall? Who knows? But let's find out for the first time. So here we are. This is a comprehensive guide for Fife homeowners. So if you're a homeowner out there and you're wondering what's going on in the Fife property market in terms of pricing and if it's a buyer's or a seller's market, now we're going to give some clarity what I'm going through right here. So I'm going to go through this in a bit of detail. I'm going to explain to you what a buyer's and a seller's market is. I'm also going to talk about a balanced market and understanding the dynamics of supply and demand in that market, and also what kind of property market is Fife actually in right now? So we're going to cover as well what the statistics are for the last 5 years, and then go over some numbers, and then we're going to finally at the end. I'm going to go over the tips for Fife home sellers in a buyer's market, and also the tips for Fife home sellers or buyers in a Fife's sellers market. So there's a bit of detail here, but hold tight. Go over it in full detail, and we'll give you a full explanation about what's going on right now in this market. I mean, in an ever-changing world of Fife property, the terms buyer's market and seller's market often are banded about all the time. These property market conditions can significantly impact on your ability to buy or sell a Fife property, regardless of what side of the fence you actually find yourself on at this point in time. As a Fife staging, I'll go through and provide all these details and an analysis of the Fife property market overall to find out if we're actually in a buyer's or seller's market and offer valuable tips to navigate throughout that process. Additionally, I'll shed some light on a lesser known market condition, as I said before, called a balanced market. And so let's dive into the nuances of that market and equip you with the knowledge to make informed decisions on buying and selling in Fife. So let's start off with what is actually a buyer's market. Well, a buyer's market occurs when the number of Fife homes available for sale exceeds the number of potential buyers in the marketplace at any one point in time. In this scenario, the buyers hold all the advantage, and they have more choice and can take a lot longer to make decisions. They may even negotiate with sellers to secure a more favourable price. This is an ideal market for Fife buyers, as attractive deals are plentiful, while sellers face the challenge of standing out in a sea of properties for sale. This is why I often talk about when you get to spring and summer, often it can turn to a buyer's market overall. The reason for behind that is because more properties come onto the market from sellers at any point in time in the year. Therefore, the market's flooded completely with them, and therefore the same number of buyers are still in that market. I mean, the buyers don't change really. Buyers don't actually go up or down. We've proved that every single week anyway. When we look at the Fife property market and we look at the number of agents over all the agents on Rightmove and how many are sold every week and how many are bought every week as well. And that shows without a shadow of a doubt, there's no really major swing in the buyer's market. So the buyers are always there and it always stays steady. It all depends on how many sellers put the property on the market at any one point in time, which will determine whether it could tip into a buyer's market or could remain a seller's market overall. But let's talk about what a seller's market is. Conversely, a seller's market is where the higher demand for homes is available on inventory, and it creates a power shift in favour of the sellers who can benefit from increased competition among buyers. In a seller's market, Five properties tend to sell quickly, and sellers often receive multiple offers, driving up property prices overall. This market can be challenging for Fife buyers. No doubt about it, as they may face bidding wars and have limited negotiating power. Now, this often happens when one special property often comes onto the market, and it's in a unique location and it's a unique type of property, and you'll probably never get that type of property ever again. It is really waiting for someone to exit to get that property, and it could take years and years and years. That's often how it becomes a seller's market for that one particular property. Hence the reason we talk about sometimes properties going to closing dates. That's clearly where there's a seller's market. But let's talk about introducing a balanced market. Apart from the buyers and sellers markets, a balanced market exists where the number of people looking to sell a property matches the number of potential buyers. In a balanced market, equilibrium is achieved, leading to stable prices and a reasonable time frame for property sales overall. The market conditions often offers a fair playing field to both buyers and sellers, creating a more harmonious real estate environment. So let's understand then the actual dynamics of the supply and demand of property in Fife. Well, at the core of these market conditions lies the principle of supply and demand every single time. Fife home buyers have the upper hand when supply of Fife homes surpasses the demand. Conversely, when demand outstrips supply, which has been for the first month of January so far, demand has been outstripping supply at this point in time. Fife house sellers hold an advantage, and this recognises the Fife property market. You are in a crucial, crucial for making informed decisions. Regardless of whether you're a buyer or a seller, it is important to understand the market dynamics. So that begs the question then, what kind of market is the Fife property market in at this point in time? That's a $64 million question. Best way anyone can actually judge the market is to analyse the percentage of properties marked as sold subject to concluded missives and under offer in relation to the total stock of properties in the market at this point in time. I mean, for example, if there are 500 properties on the market, both available and sold under offer, and 200 are sold under offer, that's 200 as a percentage of 500, which is 40%. Everyone can do this really by searching the property portals, Rightmove, Zoopla, and On the Market, and by searching Fife and calculating by asking the results with the sold and under offer without sold. So, what is the Fife property market at this point in time? Well, let me just do a quick search on Zoopla. Let's get Zoopla up. I'll let you see Zoopla. We'll get it up and we'll let you have a look at it, and we'll get it on the screen and share it. Just bear with me as I go in and see where we are at this point in time. Let's open up Zoopla. Okay, so we have Zoopla here. Let's click on it and let's click on the main Zoopla tag here. Now, we might be able to see this. Let me just share this on the screen. See if I can get Zoopla, and it should appear above me as if by magic. Yep, here it is here. So here's Zoopla, and we type in Fife, and we'll just do a search. So at this point in time, there's 937 properties. See that there? The 937. So we take 937, okay? And then what we do out of 937 is we just go to the filters. Now, we're trying to find the filters on here. It's no easy. Let me just make this a bit bigger than what it should be. There's the filters here. And we'll include all these. And there's property status, under offer and sold, update results. So 1,761. So 1,761 overall, and that's with the sales included. And then there's 937 without sales included. So 1,761 minus 937 equals 824. So 824 is sold, subject to concluded missives, and 176. So 824 divided by 1,761 equals 47%. So 47% of the stock currently on the websites for sale at this point in time is the amount actually sold, 47%. So let's go on and talk about what does this actually mean then in reality. Well, the designated property market states as follows: a 0 to 20% is an extreme buyer's market, a 21 to 29% buyer's market, a 30 to 40% is a balanced market, and a 41 to 49%, which is where we drop into, is a seller's market still. 50 to 59% is a hot seller's market, and 60% plus is an extreme seller's market. Now, before we were sitting at 60% in the boom times. Now we're down to 47% of the stock available it has actually sold. So that's a seller's market still. But we're just slightly on the cusp of possibly in the next couple of months moving into a balanced market. But if interest rates start to come down, if mortgage rates start to come down, if inflation starts to come down as a result, then we might end up returning to a hot seller's market overall. I mean, this methodology is widely used by many professional property traders and corporate asset managers and developers as a part of part exchange providers to quickly assess the temperature of the local market. It offers a reliable and efficient measure of market heat, enabling informed individuals to select the right strategies and stay ahead of the market to achieve superior results. So when you want to check, when you're about to sell or you're about to buy, and you want to check that market, all you need to do is find out the total number of properties, including sale properties on the market, find out the total properties actually sold. In other words, tick that box to exclude sold properties. You come down to the ones left on the market, the difference between the two, and divide that by the total number of properties gives you this percentage. Hopefully that makes sense for a lot of people out there. But you could watch this back and walk it through again just to make sure. But I did show you on Zoopla itself and what to do. So, what are the statistics for Fife in the last 5 years? Well, June 2018 was 54%, June 2019, 51, June 2020 was 48, 21 was 83. You can see the boom market. 22 was 78, 22 in December was 68. March 23 was 58, May 23 was 59, and as I said, right now at this point in time, in June 23 actually it was 60, and now it's down to 47. So we are now in a seller's market, but not a hot seller's market anymore, not the extreme seller's market anymore, almost moving to a balanced market. So you can quite easily see how Fife went for an extreme seller's market in 2021 and 2022, and yet has returned to similar levels to that sort of pre-pandemic level, the 54 and 51%. 2020 was 48%. So you can see how that's moved overall. Quickly, see if I can dig out a chart for this, and I'll let you see it. So here we go here. Here it is in chart form. As we pop up, here it is to June 2023. As I said, how it goes back, and then we're down to 47% down here. I've not included that in here. I've just updated the statistics right now as we are speaking. So we're down at 47% now from 60 in June 2023. Therefore, we're now back at sort of the June 2020 and June 2019 levels. Now, let's talk about this. Of course, this could all change. So let me explain both extremes for either market. Now, the tips for Fife home sellers in a buyer's market. So if you're selling in a buyer's market, this is what you need to know, because it could easily change into that market. Sellers selling in a Fife property buyer's market. It can be daunting, but you can improve your chances of success by the right approach. And here's some valuable tips for Fife homeowners. Be realistic about your asking price. If the Fife property market becomes a buyer's market, home sellers will need to understand the challenging market conditions and set a competitive price from the beginning. In other words, be realistic about what your expectations are. Home reports have now all caught up with the current valuations and the current price points. Therefore, that's why and I did my Fife property update last night on last night on Sunday at 7 o'clock. That's why I talked to you about some of the properties actually went for slightly over the home report value. Some of the properties went for slightly under the home report value, which could suggest we're moving into a balanced market overall. Overpricing will deter. This is clear here in a buyer's market. Overpricing will definitely deter Fife buyers from even viewing and lead to your home being on the market for quite a number of months. People will start to think there's something wrong with your home and dismiss it even more. Now, everything up to the 250,000 price point is actually selling quite well, and it's taken on average a couple of months to sell right across the board for every single estate agent. Hence the reason why we've got 957 properties available, but there's round about 500 properties coming on and getting bought every month. Therefore, there's about 2 months worth of stock, which is round about the 2 months I talked about to sell on average. The second one I would say in a Fife seller in a buyer's market is present your Fife home at its best. In a real competitive buyer's market, making your property stand out is actually vital. So consider staging your home and completing any necessary repairs to make it more appealing to home buyers. The third one is maximize your exposure. Effective marketing is crucial, particularly for buyers particularly for you in a buyer's market. Collaborate closely with a reputable Fife local agent with extensive knowledge and strong marketing team to ensure your marketing visibility for your property. This is what we rely on in terms of digital marketing strategy. It's key. Exactly why you're watching this right now. This is a digital marketing strategy. You have to make sure you've got a strong marketing team to ensure maximum visibility for your property. Gone are the days of just putting your property on Rightmove and Zoopla and hoping for the best. It is not like that anymore. You have to have somebody with a competitive marketing strategy, which is digital. And that's talk-ups, that's drone and location footage in key areas where your property it obviously wants to show off at its best advantage to people from further afield. Because remember, not everybody outside of Fife or outside your area knows exactly what's available in your area and what is on offer. And it's not easy to convey that in a description, and it's not easy to convey that in a photograph, and it's certainly not easy to convey that in drone footage if you don't have digital markers. And that's why it's essential why we have digital markers and drone footage, and we also do proper property walkthrough talk-ups. So people from outside the area can understand what is available. Hence the reason why I talk about where the cafes, bistros and restaurants, and why I'm so renowned for talking about how close proximity is to the beach and the harbour and the Fife coastal path. Because people from further afield don't know that. We know that, but they don't. And it's my job to tell them that. And it's our job to tell them that overall. Don't rely on them reading it, because most people will watch video if they've got a choice. And if a video comes up and it doesn't relay the message correctly, you're done for. Your property isn't going to go anywhere. It'll actually potentially put people off. And then they'll move on, and then that's what happens. And this is what often happens to me when somebody comes to me from another agent, which has happened recently from a high-end agent in St Andrews. They've come to me, the sellers, and they've said, look, we want you to market your property. And the first thing I've actually looked at is the drone footage and then the location footage. And I tell you what, it put me off as well. So my first strategy is, how do I repair the damage that's been done from the existing agent for how many people they've actually blown out the water who originally looked at this listing and thought to themselves, nah, it's no for me. When in actual fact, it probably is for them. They just don't know, because they don't know clearly what's on offer in the area and what lifestyle and benefits it will give them. That's exactly what we do. We do not sell features. We sell the benefits. In other words, we're not selling the lawnmower. We're selling the fact that the lawnmower can cut a better lawn and make it look a lot better than everybody else's. That's what we're selling as estate agents. That's exactly what we've got to do with your property. So, fourth one for me is be prepared to negotiate on more than pound notes. Price is not really the only factor in negotiations. Buyers may also be open to discussing terms like what you're leaving in terms of fixture and fittings. So be flexible. They might also be quite flexible with your entry date as well. If you want an entry date of maybe 6 or 7 months, that might actually fall perfectly into what the buyer wants as well. And therefore, there's a win-win situation to be had. And that's what you should be looking for in every single negotiation. Win-win. And that ensures that the buyer, getting to the 11th hour, doesn't potentially pull out as a result. That's why you want to create a win-win. So be willing to find common ground if you're in that. If you're a Fife seller in a buyer's market, you've got to be willing to find common ground here to get a win-win situation out of this. But this is down to your estate agent. This is down to how your estate agent negotiates. So how they negotiate is probably key as well. When you spoke to your estate agent and you said, "Are you negotiable? Are you negotiable in your fee?" If they came out and said straight away that absolutely, that should tell you everything. That should tell you everything. In other words, they're not coming back with anything at all to tell you why they're charging that fee and why they're worth that fee. They're just saying straight away, we'll give you a reduction. What do you think they're going to do when it comes to the buyer negotiating for the price of your property? Think about that. So this is tips for buyers now in a Fife sellers market. And this is where we are right now before the balance market. If you find yourself navigating a seller's market as a Fife buyer, these tips will help you improve chances of securing the right property. Here's the 5 top tips I would talk about if you're a buyer in a Fife seller's market, which you probably are right now, and this is just tipping into a Fife seller's market right now. Define your necessities. Clearly understand your property needs and prioritize them. Be prepared to compromise on certain aspects to increase your chance of finding a property that is suitable for you. The second one, be friendly. Build a positive rapport and relationship with your home sellers on the viewing. So if you're going round to view with the home seller, build a rapport. Ask them what the area is like. Ask them what it was for them. More chances are, more than likely, that what you see in the area is what they saw in the area in the beginning as well. And that's where common ground can be achieved. So build that positive rapport with the seller when you go round to view with them if you are. This could really work in your favour. First impressions really do make a difference. And if you're competing against someone else to get that property, they could often sign up with you, even though you might have offered slightly lower. The third one for a buyer in a Fife sellers market, act quickly. Definitely act quickly. The amount of times I tell people to jump on it straight away. This is why we talk about following our social media channels all the time. This is why we tell buyers, follow our social media channels all the time, because you don't know, you could potentially miss out if you don't, because 5 to 6 days before it goes on the website, it goes on our social media channels first. And you will see it there first before anywhere else. That is what the pre-portal is. That's what it's all about. So you have a golden opportunity. Follow our socials first before anyone else. If you know somebody that's looking for a property in Fife, tell them to follow our social media channels first, because they might get in there before anyone else, especially if two people. All it needs is two people to compete for a property. And you could lose out because you're waiting on it to come on a website. And by that time, you could be too late. It happened recently with Orchard House, a 2-bedroom apartment. Went for over £165,000, but it was gone. It was sold on the socials, and that was only a couple of weeks back. So other people did miss out on that, and sadly, it's because they waited. So act quickly. In a seller's market, hesitation can lead to missed opportunities. If you come across a Fife property that meets your criteria, schedule your viewing promptly. Stop the bus straight away. Get on and get on board with the agent and get something lined up, because it can often deter a seller from accepting an offer if you've got a viewing lined up and you are in a good position to proceed. The next one, definitely make fair offers. While everybody wants a great deal, offering a reasonable price shows respect to the sellers and increases your likelihood of your offer being considered. If you go in there straight away without any reason why you're trying to put a silly offer in at that point in time, you'll be dismissed straight away in a competitive market and can sometimes offend the seller, so you will never get another offer in that door. They will just not accept it. I've seen it happen before, where a seller will often fall out with a buyer because it's done too closely, and the agent never had a chance to get involved here because they went round, they made the offer, backed them into a corner, and they just felt so offended by the offer itself and the fact that it was so low in the beginning. They then decided, I won't accept any from them. So be careful. Remember, build a good rapport and make a fair offer. Don't try to lowball it. If you're prepared to pay more, put your best foot forward and pay that price. The final one for a Fife buyer in a seller's market: you've got to practice patience. Although speed's essential, and we've talked about that, exercising patience is equally vital. Rushing into a decision can result in regret sometimes. The right property will come along, so balancing acting swiftly and making informed choices is critical in that scenario. Remember, you've got to understand the dynamics of the buyers and sellers market, and it's essential for both buyers and sellers in a Fife property market overall. And by grasping these nuances in each property market condition and applying the appropriate strategies, you can actually maximize your chances of achieving a Fife property, your Fife property goals. Whether you find yourself in a buyer's market, a seller's market, or a balanced market, adapt your approach and working closely with an experienced local agent. It will significantly enhance your chances of success in an ever-changing world of real estate. But let me leave you with this one thing and one last thought. Regardless of whether it's a buyer's or seller's market, it's important to recognize the interconnected nature of these market conditions. A significant statistic to consider is that 81% of sellers are also buyers. This means that as you gain an advantage as a seller in a hot market, you may face challenges when transitioning to a buyer's side. Conversely, in a buyer's market where you have the upper hand as a buyer, you might encounter difficulties when selling your own property as well. So it's crucial to understand the dynamics and plan accordingly, as the dynamics of the Fife property market are often a delicate balance between gaining and losing. And this holds true for both buyers and sellers overall. I mean, these are just my thoughts, and do share yours in the comments if you want to. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions as well if you've got them later on, or if you want to put them in the comments, or you want to message me direct on this post. Until next time, guys, I hope you understand the real key difference between a buyer's and a seller's market, and also how you'll be in both at some point in time anyway, with both being a homeowner and eventually being a seller and a buyer again. And once you master that, and once you understand that, you have got it sussed. Until next time, I'm Jim Parker for Fife Properties.